Every day at Sierra, you'll find top brand apparel, footwear, and gear for 20 to 60% less than department and specialty store prices. And during clearance time at Sierra, those incredible prices are 40 divided by 2.5, carry the 1, even lower. And when you shop clearance at Sierra, you can save a whole lot more on everything you need to get active and outside. That's a lot of saving. Epic brands, vast selection, teeny tiny prices. That's Sierra. Visit your local Sierra store today or shop online at Sierra.com.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Checking off the boxes on your to-do list is a great feeling. And when it comes to checking off coverage, a State Farm agent can help you choose an option that's right for you. Whether you prefer talking in person, on the phone, or using the award-winning app, it's nice knowing you have help finding coverage that best fits your needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This is Optimal Health Daily. 4 Ways to Maintain Motivation by Victoria Jung with freeformfitness.ca. And I'm your host and narrator, Dr. Neil. Welcome back to Optimal Health Daily, or welcome for the first time if you're new here. This is the podcast where I read to you from some of the most popular health and fitness blogs online. All right, and with that, let's get right to it as we optimize your life. 4 Ways to Maintain Motivation by Victoria Jung with freeformfitness.ca. In our New Year's blog post, we presented the stats on New Year's resolutions. At this point, a large percentage of New Year's resolutions have already been abandoned, and many more are going to follow in the coming weeks. This past Monday was also the infamous Blue Monday, apparently the saddest day of the year. With a rush of enthusiasm and energy from the holiday slowly starting to fade, and we settle back into our daily routines, it's increasingly easier to let those New Year's resolutions slide. For many of us, like those of us hearing this from Ottawa, Canada, we're also having to adapt to some crazy weather, which can sap our energy and leave us looking to curl up on the couch to binge on Netflix and comfort food. This week, we thought it was important to give you some tools to get yourself back on track and not only boost motivation, but also maintain that motivation. To start, motivation is not a zero-sum game. That is, you can't expect to be motivated 100% of the time. There are going to be really good days, and there are going to be really bad days. In fact, researchers have discovered that your willpower, which works hand in hand with motivation, is in limited supply every day. Like your muscles, your willpower can be fatigued when overused, which brings us to our first tip to maintain motivation. 1. Know your limit, play within it. Along with being a great motto for all things in life, this tip is all about taking things step by step. Some may have made some really ambitious goals at the beginning of the month, and that's great. What you need to reflect on is that the steps you take to get there are just that, steps, not leaps and bounds. Asking yourself to make a complete 180 from old habits to new, healthier ones will exhaust your willpower and leave you feeling depleted of motivation. Once depleted, you will find it very difficult to hit the gym instead of the snooze button. Look at the goals you made this year and reevaluate how you are going to reach them, keeping your limited willpower in mind. 2. Build your goals into your routine. Dipping into the daily willpower bank is only required when we have to resist the temptation to do something else. So, if you really want your healthy resolutions to stick, they need to become something that's part of your everyday life. Once getting to your training sessions or meal prepping become part of that group of autopilot activities, then there will be no other temptation to resist because it won't even be a decision at that point. Many of our clients have shared with us that once exercises became a part of their routine, missing sessions required willpower. 3. Expect the unexpected. So now that you have hacked your willpower and made your healthy choices part of your daily or weekly routines, what happens when something comes up that you can't get out of? Your kids get sick. Your study group can only meet at one time, and it's during your training session. The grocery store doesn't have one of the ingredients for your favorite meal. There's a major family or work event that you can't skip out on. Do you skip your training session? Do you skip making that meal and grab something on the go? Absolutely not. Having a backup plan to help you stay on track means that you can never be thrown off your game. Even for life's unexpected events, you can always be prepared so that you never have to sacrifice your goals. If you know that you have to be away for an event or you're traveling for work, either check ahead to see if where you'll be has a gym or somewhere you can get out for some bodyweight exercises and cardio, or condense your workouts before you leave so that you don't hinder the progression of your training. For those with dietary goals, have at least 2 or 3 backup meals that you love and can make in a pinch if something comes up and you're unable to make your planned meal for that day. Preparation is our best defense against the unpredictability of our daily lives and will help you maintain motivation through even the craziest of days. And 4, celebrate little wins. The power of positivity and optimism should not be taken lightly. It's widely understood in the neuroscience community that dopamine plays an important role in motivation. Dopamine release in the brain is linked to situations of success and reward, which really is subjective to everyone. What we believe to be a successful event in our lives may not be successful to someone else. What this means is we can actually control the reward system in our brain by rewarding ourselves with little wins every day. The more little wins, the more dopamine, and therefore the longer our motivation will last. Celebrating little wins is so simple. You just have to be open to viewing simple things as something worth celebrating. It's as easy as seeing something like actually pushing through the final repetitions even though you thought you were done as something to be excited about. On a final note, if your New Year's resolutions have fallen by the wayside in the last few days, don't let that discourage you. Just because you didn't do it perfectly doesn't mean you have to give up on it entirely. Pick up right where you left off and try using some of these tips to maintain your motivation and continue working towards accomplishing this year's goals. You just listened to the post titled 4 Ways to Maintain Motivation by Victoria Jung with freeformfitness.ca, and I'll be right back with my commentary. Right now, there's a talented person out there who could take your company to the next level. Do you want to hope they see your job post before your competitors? Or do you want to match with them with Indeed sponsored jobs? Sponsored jobs boost your post for quality candidates so you can reach the exact people you want faster. I love that Indeed speeds up hiring. When I've hired in the past, the process was overwhelming. I wish I'd used Indeed. Spend more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results now with Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/health. Just go to Indeed.com/health right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/health. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Do it the right way with Indeed. Sometimes I just don't have the time or brain space for proper grocery shopping. With a long commute, shopping for groceries is the last thing I want to do. That all changed with Hungry Root. It's the easiest way to get healthy. Just tell them what you like, don't like, and your goals, and Hungry Root fills your cart with personalized recommendations. It's the perfect way to actually stick with your New Year's resolution of starting fresh with healthy eating. For my Hungry Root order, I was able to get the veggies and proteins I specifically wanted for my weekly meal prep, plus a couple sides and pre-made meals for convenience, all fresh and delivered quickly. Take advantage of this exclusive offer. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/OHD and use code OHD. That's hungryroot.com/OHD, code OHD, to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. Dr. Neil here with my commentary. There was so much great advice in today's article. Today's author, Victoria, provided different ways to help us stay motivated. The more we can incorporate, the better. But that does not mean we need to incorporate all of these suggestions at once. Instead, begin with 1 or 2 suggestions that kind of jumped out at you and made you think, oh, I can do that. That's where you start. Now, when I was reading this to you, something Victoria said reminded me of something I experience. Victoria's first suggestion was to know your limits. And here's something I've noticed about myself. I like to have a dessert pretty much every evening after dinner. It's nothing too extreme, maybe 2 ounces of chocolate. Now, if I'm trying to stay within that portion size, it's best I don't watch any kind of baking show around dessert time. If I watch any baking show, I'm immediately inspired to bake something or raid my cupboards to find a baked dessert, any kind of baked dessert. So for me, this is a limit. This is something I'm very conscious of. This suggestion to know your limits really can be applied to anything. If someone's trying to cut back on their tobacco use or alcohol use, the same concepts apply. It's best to try and avoid those triggers that may lead to smoking that cigarette or having that drink. Now, avoiding triggers may not always be possible. Say someone is a pastry chef and wants to cut back on their pastry consumption. Avoiding pastries may not be possible without a complete career change. So if this isn't possible, there are 3 other suggestions today's author Victoria gave us. So, no need to give up. Try one of those instead. All right, that'll do it for another edition of Optimal Health Daily. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for listening all the way through. And thank you so much for sharing this show with someone. That's one of the best things you can do to keep the show going. All right, I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll be back with more tomorrow and where your optimal life awaits.